Morning students. Today I shall be teaching you this story Refugees, written by Pearl S. Burke. And Pearl S. Burke is an American. She was born in Virginia and she was born in the year 1892 till 1973. She is one of the best 20th century, you can call, novelist, short story writer. She was multifaceted genius. So today I will be dealing with her story Refugees. रेफ्यूजीज़, यू ऑलरेडी नो द टर्म रेफ्यूजीज़, जिसको हम हिंदी में शरणार्थी भी बोलते हैं. तो इस स्टोरी में, इन दिस स्टोरी, शी डील्स विद द प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ द पुअर पीजेंट फार्मर्स who have to move from their land because already there was in Yangtze River. It is mainly about the situation which existed in China in 1931 in Yangtze River when there was flood and a lot of Chinese peasants, they had to move. They were from well-to-do families because they had nothing to survive, neither any food, no crops. So they had to move from their lands, from their country, away towards the city. So they become refugees. So it's mainly about Chinese people. And Pearl S. Burke, most of her life, she lived in China. And just for her study, she went to West Virginia, and the genre of this particular story is mainly about the social problem, and theme is the aftermath of a natural disaster. Setting is China and the flood which takes place in the year 1931 in Yangtze River, and the characters are mainly, it is about the old man who is the hero in this story, is the main protagonist. And through this old man, I can call him a hero, though he's so senile, he's all wizened and he's having all wrinkles on his face. He is a man who is young at heart, young in spirit, but physically he may be old, but he's full of inspirited, because he wants to go back. Being a refugee, he wants to go back again to his native land, and there he wants to grow those fully those lands which are completely deprived of everything. Again he wants crops to be grown there, so that their posterity, they will be benefited by it. So I can call him the hero of this particular story. So it mainly deals with particularly the characters are mainly the grandson of the old man, then his grandson, and there is a passerby, and there is a noodle seller. So there are mainly it moves around the four characters, this particular story. But being a short story, Pearl S. Burke, she is famous. She was the first American woman to win the Nobel Prize, and her one of the books which is very interesting, even I have gone through it, that is The Good Earth. She also received Pulitzer Prize for it, and she was the proud first American woman to win the Nobel Prize in 1938. So now I will be dealing with mainly the story Pearl S. Burke's Refugees. I will just tell you in short about the story. What is this story about? So the story opens, see the lines of the story, it is written beautifully. I'll just read out, narrate to you the few lines. They walked through the new capital, alien and from a far country. So these people, we have not been told they are coming from which country. This is a universal fact. Even in India today, I can relate it, and I can very well connect it with Indian story of the farmers who are they mainly, we Indians, we depend for our for our agriculture. We mainly depend on the rains. So we generally we are not so high tech that we can grow everything like that. So our country, the agriculturists, they are poor farmers, they mainly depend on the rains. So whenever there are no rains, there is drought, there is natural calamity, there is natural disaster. So we have heard even in Maharashtra and many other states, so many farmers, they are committing suicides. Because why? Because they have not been able to grow up their own lands. They don't even have proper seeds, because already the country, it depends on they don't have a proper irrigation system. They have to depend on the rainwater. So many of them, they are so poor. So they have to migrate, or they have to take these steps, So the same thing I find it here. So she has very beautifully, Pearl S. Buck, she has described about the Chinese people, and this was the particular story and the good earth, which brought China in the limelight. Even the Americans realize what is the condition which these Chinese people are facing and how progressive they are. Today we can't even imagine where they have reached. Okay, so it's one of the, everything is, being China, China, China. Everything comes from made in China. So where they have progressed from which type of situation. So the same thing, we have to, we have to overcome all these problems. And so now I'll tell you the story. In this story, the story begins, I was just reading out the lines. They walked through the new capital, alien and from a far country. Yes, although their own lands were only a few hundred miles, perhaps from this very street upon which they now walk. But to them it was far. Their eyes were the eyes of those who have been taken suddenly and by some unaccountable force from the world they have always known and always safe until this time. Yes, today it is for the first time they are moving from this country, as we are not told the country's name. So it is an unknown country, and they are moving towards the city. And see how beautifully the writer describes that these people, they were so famished, they were starving, they had nothing to rely upon. So because they are coming for the first time towards the city, they are least bothered which are the automobiles, which are the huge buildings. They don't even look at them, and neither the people of the city look at them. So see, the gap which exists between these refugees and the people from the city. The city people, they don't like the refugees, which is generally the fact, because the refugees come here, so all the poor people who are already earning well, so now for them there is a core competition, because these poor famished people, they can pull, even the rickshaw pullers, even the beggars, they hate them, because whatever were they getting, these people are ready to work for very low income. So everybody in the city, they hate them. So these refugees are highly disliked by the common people of the city. Though they have, they have this in the border area, they have camps for them, but hardly, because they even need to survive. So for surviving, for their survival, they need some meals, they need some other commodities. So from where do they get? So they keep on moving, and they are highly disliked by the people on the road. So after, telling about all these facts, mainly this story concerns the old man, and we have not been told what is the age of the old man, but he is one of the last, last refugees in that particular procession, and he is having on his shoulders 2 baskets which he is carrying. In one of the basket there is a cauldron, and in the other one there is a quilt, and what is inside that we will come to know later on. And suddenly, because he is fully famished, he is very tired, he is panting, he is already senile, so he sits on the ground, he is very tired, and suddenly he finds that in front of him there is a noodle cell. So already he is famished, so he orders one of the bowl of a noodle, and prior to that there was one passerby. We have already been told that there is only one passerby who feels quite, though passerby is also not very rich, but looking at the condition of the old man, he is being so compassionate that he gives him a small penny, 1 penny of copper, and he also gives him a silver coin, because he thinks this man is just like my old father, but my father does not exist, so I need to help him. So here we find a lot of humanity. Pearl S. Buck, whenever she writes, you read The Good Earth, you already connect, there is a lot of connectivity, because you find so much of humaneness in her works. So he gives him the coin, and 2 coins he gives him. One is 1 penny of copper and 1 silver coin. So this fellow orders to the noodle man that I want a cup of noodles. So he takes the cup of noodles and he opens his quilt from one of the baskets, and there you see a small child, who is already, you feel that this child is dead. But then when he pours 1 or 2 spoons into his mouth of the noodles, and then that child completely eats the food and then again goes to sleep, and then he does not order the second bowl of noodles for him. See, he's already having the silver coin in his hand, but he does not order. So even the noodle seller, he's quite astonished that why this man who is so hungry, why he is doing like that. He wanted to help him, but then he says, a man who is already having a silver coin in his hand, why doesn't he help himself? And he gives him a silver coin and buys some noodles for him. So he is quite astonished, so he does not help him, and he tells him that, oh old man, you are already having 1 silver coin and you are retaining it, you are not buying anything from it. Now here comes the main, I can even call the climax of the story and the gist of the story. Here comes this point when you realize that this old man is a hero. Such people are needed in this country. What happens even in our country, even in his country, he is to be awarded for so many things. So what happens, he says, listen man, I am keeping this coin. I am keeping this coin for the posterity, so that tomorrow my grandchild, because already my son and daughter-in-law, they are dead. They were dead in the floods. So tomorrow when my grandson, he will go back to his native land, I will sow, because he is a farmer, he knows what is the value of seed and how they have to again make their land fertile. So again the crops will be grown. So I need money for the seeds. And when the floods had come in the Yangtze River and in our country, even the these poor villages, they were not poor but they became poor. They even ate their seeds which had to be retained for further cropping. So I don't want that now. I want a very good future for my grandson. So I would like to keep the silver coin for the seeds for the future. So here the particular story ends. So you yourself can find that I'll just read out the last few lines of this particular story for you. Now see the last few lines which will really move you, and these lines are, when the old man says, to quote old man, well I know you cannot understand, but if you had land you would know it must be put to seed again, or there will be starvation yet another year. The best I can do for this grandson of mine is to buy a little seed for the land. See, he remained hungry, but he kept that particular coin for the seed. So this is his vision for the future. Yes, even though I die and others plant it, the land must be put to seed. And unquote, he took up his load again, his old legs trembling, and straining his eyes down the long straight street, he staggered on. Now see, any nation can be proud of such men. So there are so many other things which I'll just in the next class will be dealing with the questions and other questions and other topics which can be go for the research work. So thank you students, thank you so much. Sir, band kar dijiye.